Howdy fucking doody, people. What is going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Pseudo Geek Fix podcast, bro. And we know it's not Wednesday, but you know what? It's Thursday. It's the next fucking day. You can bet on that. It's the next day. But you know what? We're here talking about What If episode 2, but in particular, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Now, I got to say, going into this episode before we start breaking it down, I thought knowing going into it what it was about, it was going to play it a little bit safe like the first episode. But thank the Lord, they did something completely different from what I was expecting. And I give them a ton and a ton of credit. But let's get into the nitty gritty, what we liked, what we didn't like. But before we get into that, we got all four of us here. I just want to say that. So, we back bang, 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 spow. But yeah, guys, let's get right into the nitty gritty, guys. Spoiler alert if you've not seen the episode. But yeah, we're just going to get into it. So I'm going to go jump to you, Loretto. What are some of your overall thoughts, opinions on this episode, especially looking back on what that first episode did?
First of all, I want to speak directly to one of our good friends, Mr. Film Opinionitis. Gabe, this is what you wanted, man. This is what you were looking for. These are the droids you're looking for, man. He nitpicked the first episode saying it brought nothing new to the table. It wasn't original. It was a retreat of the first Avenger. I told you it was coming. Fantastic episode. I got a little choked up, especially knowing that was Chadwick Boseman. It was his final performance as T'Challa, and pretty much, but minus Dave Bautista, for whatever reason, the entire voice cast was back. Djimon Hounsou in particular was awesome. I loved his playful take on the character Korgath, right? Or what's his name?
I thought it was like Gorath or something.
Korath. Yes, Korath. I always mispronounce it, but he was excellent. And ultimately, I just loved the complete 180 it took. Like it familiarized us with getting the Power Stone, and then after that, it was a brand new tale. And I also loved that he wasn't the same douchey Chris Pratt Star-Lord. He was T'Challa, and he was humble, and he did the right thing. And I thought that was such a cool concept. Like they kind of hit it too hard in the nose with Yondu saying, "Hey, it's like that Earthling guy, Robin, whatever, Robin Leach." That was a little too on the nose, but I love the concept. T'Challa as a Robin Hood like character saving the galaxy is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I love the episode.
Now, before we jump over to Deebs or AJ, I just want to point out something that I kind of just realized now thinking about the episode. They're kind of treating each episode like a movie. They keep doing these post-credit that really aren't post-credit. They seem like they'd be post-credit scenes that I really think are really cool. So it's a nice way to pay homage to what they kind of branded themselves in and what they kind of started in, not only a cinematic universe type of idea, but also putting post-credit scenes to keep people there to the end of the movie to tease something, or in Deadpool's case, rip off Ferris Bueller's and X why we're sitting there. But you know what? I really appreciate that. But let's go straight to you, Deebs. What are your overall thoughts on this second episode?
Just like kind of Gabe, I gave last week's episode, I think, a 9 out of 10, but there were concerns. There were concerns that I talked about, kind of like exactly what Gabe had echoed. Lucas joining, says, "What's up, guys? Happy to be here." We have Rob joining from Winnipeg. What is going on, Rob? Thanks for joining. Spoiler warning. But it was really, really good. There's something so fantastic and tragic when you hear like Chadwick Boseman's voice as Star-Lord, especially during that opening sequence. It was there were goosebumps, but overall, like, I thought his character was more charming than ever. I loved how Boseman like presented this just massive force of positivity on the galaxy. There was some like Luke Skywalker, Star Wars-y vibes. I don't know if you got that, Loretto or AJ. Like just T'Challa, young T'Challa looking up at the stars. His destiny awaits. That was a really cool moment. I thought that we got Taserface. We've got Yondu. And you touched on it, Loretto. Like, I was a little kind of worried about, because I don't know anything about this show beyond what we just saw. And it was kind of a beat for beat remake of with Captain Carter and the First Avenger. But this week, it really gave us a fresh story. Seth Green voicing Howard the Duck was really, really great. Overall, it's just a very solid episode. And especially when you just see Thanos, there's something like so epic when you see Thanos just chilling there, having a drink and just chilling with his boys. Like, it was just a really cool episode.
No, yeah, honestly, Deebs, totally agree. I think everyone will agree with you and say Thanos is one of the highlights of this episode. He was in this episode a lot more than I'd anticipated once he popped up. I thought he was popping up for a joke or something, but I'm kind of glad they kept him around, and they got Josh Brolin for the voice, which I was pretty shocked about as well. But yeah, that was great. What about you, AJ? What are some of your thoughts and opinions on the second episode of What If?
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of you guys. I actually did not like Thanos in this episode. I get it that he was supposed to be the comedic element of this episode, which was really good, but I don't like how they just downplayed everything about his actions within the movies and stuff like that. I didn't really care for that. My highlight was Nebula. I really loved the design of Nebula. I thought she was really cool. The hairpiece had me every single time I looked at it. T'Challa, aka Star-Lord, was amazing as well. I really love how they actually combine a little bit of Star-Lord, Peter Quill, and a lot of T'Challa's spirit within that one character. I love how they molded that together to make this one specific character, which was really, really cool. I didn't talk about what if last week because y'all did it really early. I actually did like the first episode of the Captain Carter episode, or what is everybody calling her now? Captain Britain. I don't know why everybody's calling her Captain Britain, but I really did like the episode. I love how they stuck with how they wanted to dance. I really did love the themes of that episode. And to be honest, I really liked it even more than the first Avengers. I love how they stuck with the themes of women empowerment and all of that within that first episode. But going back to the second episode, I think it was definitely a way to make everything more fluid, everything more vibrant within this world. And what Dodge was saying, the case of adventure, I really love how they use the adventure side of everything and how T'Challa, Peter Quill, wanted to explore the world, and he got that chance. And it was just a great episode for me. So,
no, honestly, absolutely agree with you on that, AJ. It's a really weird kind of episode. Like I said in the beginning when we opened the episode, that we didn't really, or at least I felt like we were going to get another retread of a movie, which is what I was scared of.
Mhm.
But thankfully, they only showed the beginning of this episode, other than like a scene of T'Challa punching the ever oh so ripped Collector all of a sudden, which was another cool character design I liked. They kind of made him like a mini boss or something like that. I felt like he might be someone, or a playable villain, or just someone you not play as, but go against in the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out soon by Square Enix. That'd be a cool idea. Just pointing that out. But I gotta say, I think the art style of the animation is much better used in this episode because of the Guardian setting. I'd want to say, because they got more of this magical kind of this color. You know, when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, you're looking at the screen and you're like, man, that's fucking gorgeous. Just like when you're looking at Loki, when him and Sylvie were sitting as they see the planet explode. That's a beautiful shot, and you incorporate all these colors with space, and I think James Gunn really had a nice taste with all that really helps with the animation that we might not have realized or really take into account per se. But I want to get your opinions on more about the animation in this episode. Do you guys think it was better than the last episode? Do you think they have a little bit more of an artsy side on this because of the setting alone? I'm going to go straight to you, Deebs. What do you think, man?
It was beautiful. There was a lot of purples. That's why I made the brand here purple. It really fit well with Nowhere. I thought that's when the animation really took off, when they were hanging out with the collector and all that kind of stuff. I thought the action was a little bit better last week. Particularly, there were some really awesome action moments with the animation that really worked with Captain Carter. Especially one that was like an extended long shot where she's like attacking the fort for Red Skull, and she's going soldier to soldier to soldier. It really, really was effective. Where, like you said, where this episode shined was just the environment, and it really did a good job. The animation just sucking you into where they were. T'Challa's Chadwick Boseman's personality and his charm and all of that just sucked you right into this episode.
No, honestly, Deebs, I absolutely agree with you. Before we continue to move on, I want to point out that I'm really glad that Drax got that family. Hello, guys. Oh, shit. AJ, got to stand up, man.
That's T'Challa right here.
Yo, man. We've got two people here that their t-shirt game is so
always on fleek. Always
it's
on
so
fleek.
good. It's so good.
Thanks for joining the show.
My God, bro. Look at that tan. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
Good Lord, bro. Are you okay?
Damn, bro.
That looks like it hurts.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, why do I look so red on screen? I thought it was just the camera, and I went like this. I'm like, oh man, I'm actually just
you.
Damn, but you know what, guys? I'm not as. You know what makes me happier than getting sunburned without realizing it? Seeing Drax have his family. Like,
wasn't that great?
Tell me that's not wholesome. I mean, it'd be a little bit more wholesome if it was Dave Bautista voicing, because more of that connection.
That was one of the few negatives.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved how we were presented with Thanos just chilling with his boys, having a drink. And then the next shot is Drax, the bartender, 2 feet away from him. It was great. It was so great. It just
I think
it wasn't Dave Bautista. The way it was written was awesome, though.
I think it's funny how there is a lot that changed just because T'Challa became Star-Lord. You got Thanos not wanting to destroy the world. I thought that was hilarious.
Dude,
you got Drax becoming a bartender because Thanos didn't decide to send what's his name?
Ronan.
Huh?
Ronan, yes. Yeah, Ronan killed Drax's family.
Yeah, so his family's still alive, which is amazing. But you still have that little hate-love relationship between Nebula and Thanos that I really did enjoy as well. So there's a lot that changed, but there was still a lot that they kept sacred within the essence of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Can I speak to one other negative? I just have one.
Yeah.
I kind of cringed when Nebula called him Cha-Cha.
Yeah, that was a little cringe.
I was like, okay, I'm not vibing with Cha-Cha, but
And I want to give another positive, because how freaking heroic is it that it was T'Challa that convinced Thanos with intelligence. He beat Thanos with intelligence and smart. He found out a way to cure the world. I thought
beat him with wisdom.
Really amazing
diplomacy. He did it with diplomacy.
I love that. That is such an amazing character nod to Black Panther or Star Wars.
But I do like that Thanos is still it still makes sense. It's a I was like, hey, he's not wrong. He is not wrong. So
you know what I find kind of interesting about this episode is there's no Gamora. There's no anything about Gamora. You don't hear the name. No one mentions her. No one even mentions another daughter other than Nebula. So do you think in this timeline or this what if scenario that maybe something happened to Gamora? Maybe whatever happened to her was her dying in Infinity War. And that's when T'Challa kind of hit him with the diplomacy and be like, stop here. Please do not destroy the planet.
Did anyone here see episode 3?
No.
No? All right. I'm just curious if the story continues or we're going to get
I know what the story is in the next episode.
I don't know. But does it continue?
I don't want to know.
I don't
All right,
know.
never mind. Take it.
No, but my thought though, Dives, I think they'll revisit it if there's a season 2. I mean, they're going to do that with Captain Carter, right?
So you guys are bringing up a good point that I just kind of thought of right now. So it seems like at the end of each episode, we're going to get that post-credit scene type thing. Like at the end of last episode, it was, oh, look, Carter came out of the portal and is starting the Avengers with Hawkeye and Nick Fury. With this one, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, Peter Quill gets taken by Ego at a Dairy Queen in Missouri, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what if the season 2 episodes are the sequels to these episodes?
I like it.
You know what I mean?
Fire.
So I think we're going to get more at the end of each episode. We're going to get like these little post-credit scene type things that are just going to hint towards the next season's episodes. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it in the same order as like the T'Challa episode this week would be the second episode of next season 2, like that type of correlation, or mix it around. But that's what I think they're going to do, and maybe do like a few new stories and see which popular ones they get the most out of each season and kind of continue from that. Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, can we also shout out Seth Green as Howard the Duck? That was fantastic. When you're out of luck, get a duck.
I need an animated show just straight Howard the Duck. That's what I need next after what
awesome.
That is what I need.
When you're out of luck, you got to go duck, baby.
That's what I was saying.
He was so good in that.
What killed me is like he was supposed to show T'Challa where the embers were. He went straight to the bar. Yes.
There's something so hilarious about a duck just chilling there with a martini glass. I don't know what. I don't know why.
With the suit, the suit is just like, mwah, it's perfect.
A big thing in this episode that I wasn't expecting was the ending, T'Challa reuniting with his father. And like you mentioned, Loretto, this isn't his last performance as T'Challa. He's done more voiceover work for more episodes this season. So whatever, so I think he's done four episodes he's gonna be in. So
that's fun.
It's either 3 or 4, I think. So this isn't the last time we see him, but I think this is gonna be the most emotionally resonant version of his performance that we're gonna get in What If, because now What If is his final acting stuff. Ma Rainey's last year was not the last thing. This is the very last thing that we have of Chadwick Boseman. And I think because of what happened in Black Panther, what happened in real life, it's kind of a metaphorical simulation of life being reunited with the people you love and something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel like this episode would be impactful if one of the two things never occurred or something like that.
Can I speak to that really quickly?
Yeah.
Because like the whole episode, I was like, this is awesome. This is so fun. I love it. And then he got into that Wakandan spaceship. And I don't know about you, Dives, because you and me are like the softies in the bunch, but that got me really hard when his father came up on the hologram and was like, son, you are the brightest light in the sky and we will find you. I almost lost it. I got choked up pretty hard. What a moment. And especially, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is the same voice actor that was the father in the film, right? So that just like his voice is just so powerful, man. That just got me, man. Like,
and the music, they had the little music in the back.
They had the score.
So good.
Yeah, honestly, I really did enjoy this episode. It's tough to say because where do we think they're going to go with this show? Because we've already seen they're not afraid to retell the same story, just switching scenarios like with the first Avenger. But then they're also willing to give us the same prelude to a movie, like the intro to Guardians of the Galaxy, have the exact same thing, and then everything else is different. And then we've got the Marvel Zombies episode, which personally I'm looking forward to the most. But what are you guys looking forward to this season? I feel like I need to start asking that question a little bit more because I didn't ask it last week. But it's going to be hard because I know what next week is, and I don't want one of you to say it, so I don't want to. So I don't want to know. No, so you guys say whatever you want, and I'm not going to make a face that you can see.
For me personally, I just want to see exactly what we saw in episode 2. I want to see a continuation. I want to see a continuation of stories. I want to see fresh stories. I want to see original stories. I want to see 180s on characters. This episode was amazing. I loved episode 1 as well for different reasons. But this is the vibe I want for episode 3 and moving forward with this series for sure.
No, yeah.
All I need is a surprise appearance of Deadpool. Like no one sees this coming. That is what I need. A surprise appearance of Deadpool. That's all I'm asking for.
And it's gonna be the design from the canceled FX version, and he's just gonna come over.
Hey, that could be a possibility.
Dude, that'd be pretty funny, really I think. And they'd acknowledge like, where the fuck did my show? Or just like bleep out the F word. Because it's PG-13 now. Really
and for some reason, the Prowler's there, and he's like, "See, that's the show I was gonna do." Donald Glover.
Does anyone have any more thoughts or something they wanted to touch on before we start wrapping up this episode?
I love the chemistry between T'Challa and Yondu. I thought that was probably one of the biggest standouts in this episode. Yondu, especially Yondu and T'Challa versus the Collector. I thought that moment was really good. That fight scene. I love how they trapped the Collector in one of his cases. That was so ironic. And like you said, Ryan, like I thought the Collector was as threatening as ever. And I hope we see more of that, although it's probably unlikely. I as a huge fan of Yondu, as a huge fan who says like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is super underrated and definitely among the top tier of the MCU. Yondu is amazing. It was amazing to see him and T'Challa go back and forth. It was great. I love that duo.
Yeah, with this episode, it kind of seemed like they're like, fuck it, let's just throw everything in there. Let's throw Thanos. Let's throw Blonde Nebula for whatever reason. Let's throw in T'Challa becoming Star-Lord in this one and changing the entire background. Let's give him the Yondu and Peter relationship, which surprisingly really worked. And I don't know if that's because of the good voice acting. I think the voice acting, which was much better in this episode too. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or if you think it's on par with the first or a little bit lower, but I definitely think I saw an improvement with this episode. But yeah, guys, if we have nothing else to say, let's just get to wrap up.
I have one last comment after Loretto.
Okay, go Loretto.
Yeah, so I think the voice work, as you said, was a lot better. Especially, I already highlighted Djimon Hounsou, but I just want to say how, even though the first episode was a lot of retreads, like the one retreat we had, I just loved how it was completely flipped. Like when Peter Quill is like Star-Lord, and he's like, who? But in this one, he's like the great Star-Lord. I must kneel. I'm you're humble, and he was so like starstruck. I thought that was so fun. I just loved that exchange. That was just so great.
And I was a negative. It's not really a negative, but it's like looking back at this episode, potential missed opportunity. And it's really a reflection on how T'Challa growing up really had an impact on Yondu and his like kind of being a Ravager. But I was waiting for Yondu to throw out like, these guys were going to eat you. And it didn't come directed towards T'Challa. But that I think that speaks volumes for how T'Challa has just this immense positive impact on the people he touches. And that was really, really funny.
No, honestly, absolutely agree with all you guys. Does anyone have anything else they want to touch on? AJ, possibly? Since you didn't get to touch on anything from last week, you might want to touch on to talk about this episode too.
There's one thing that I hope they fix, and that's the animation style. I think it's okay. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but I hope that they change it up a little bit just to get a little bit of more of a variety within each episode. Just make it feel different from one another, since right now each episode is drastically different from the other. I would have liked a little more change of animation style or just artistic style within each episode, much like what
Visions.
What is it? Visions is going to do. So I feel like that would have been good, but there's nothing wrong with consistency. For me, it's just an artistic style that I would have preferred if it was like a little bit different. But It's not enough to sway me from the show.
My take on AJ was it was so different than the DCAU. So I was like really happy to see a different animation style when we talked about episode 1. So I do like how it's definitely separating itself from that.
For sure. My issue with the DCAU is that it looks too basic. It doesn't do anything for me animation wise. This right here, I really do like because it has the artistic flair, unlike the DCAU. But I just wish that it had variety because it's too consistent. Which may change with episode 3, 4, 5, 6. So it could happen. It could not. Either way, I'm still watching because I'm loving the story. Either way, I'm loving the story. So hey.
No, yeah, definitely. Is this season 10 episodes, by the way, right? 10 episodes? 9?
It's 9.
Oh shit. Okay. For some reason
I think it's 9, and I think it's already been
It's already been renewed for season 2, just in case if anyone was curious. Yeah, because Lord, I remember you mentioned that earlier. They already got renewed for season 2. They've already announced that Captain Carter is getting her own episode once a season. So those are like the confirmed things we know going forward. But without a doubt.
Oh, but before we end it, I got one.
Go.
I hope that within these animated shows that they could be at some point have some characters out of these animated shows go into live action. So like little hints and tidbits of stuff. I would really like that, and it'll just give the people that have Disney Plus and people that have watch animation stuff like that something to hold on once they watch the live action. Be like, hey, did you guys notice it? Like a little Easter eggs and stuff. More Easter eggs within the movies, which I would really love.
We also need to think about, they've already confirmed that they're doing multiple animation shows after this one too. So
they created their own animation studio for Marvel, which is
fucking wild. And especially
I didn't know that.
Dude, they grew their animation pretty big, pretty fast. And it's kind of exciting because we all know that What If is like an extension of the MCU. It's not like connected, but you never know. We might see a Captain Carter from this. They're going to use this as like a testing boat for a lot of things.
They said it's connected to the MCU.
It's directly These are like all the other different timelines that we could see branch off in like Loki or Endgame whenever they show like the timeline tree and shit like that. So I'm really interested to see what they bring forward with those further animations, whether they're gonna be a little bit risque with it and do a little bit something more solo on its own, telling a different story maybe, or if they're gonna try and just keep it MCU condensed. Who knows? But I'm definitely curious to find out. I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more details at D23 this year, or whatever the next Disney event is after that or before that, because I feel like there's events every week at this point. But
I have a question.
Is
this the best platform to start off X-Men and Fantastic Four? Is this Disney for Disney Plus and then for like live action films? Any thoughts on that?
I think it should be the other way around.
I think it's going to be the other way
around. Are $2,000 to start off on Disney Plus.
The fact that they have their own cinematic universe already, they need to be on the big screen. This is not the place for them. Maybe Fantastic Four.
No, I will say this: if they start off theatrically and come off with like different character in their own series, I would love that. So like we'll have a Cyclops series or
a Gambit show
or a Gambit show. Yeah,
they keep talking about Gambit movie that might be better for a show.
It might be. So them going into movies first and then going to series, I would like that, especially the lesser characters and getting to know them a lot more. I actually put this in the article that if we had like the big grand stories and movie wise, but a lot more character driven stories within the series, because you can deliver a lot more depth within the series because you have more episodes and more time. I would love that. That way, once you go to the movies, you'll understand these characters and where they're coming from, and it'll be easier for them to have like a team up type movie because we already understand most of these characters.
That's exactly where I was going, AJ. Like I feel like the best way for the MCU to do this is to introduce characters within their own, not own individual projects, but in other projects. Like here's Storm, here comes Rogue, here comes Kitty. Like there's like different characters that start going that could maybe one pop up here in the What If series just randomly, and that would be like, once they eventually on the live action screen, big screen, and they team up, it'll be that much more rewarding.
See, what I like about the series right now is that they're doing minor characters first within the Disney Plus series. So we got Moon Knight coming, we got Kate Bishop coming, we got all these. I wouldn't even say minor anymore because they're becoming more streamlined. But before it was mostly like Captain America or stuff like that. That was like really hyped up. Now I can't even say minor characters anymore at this point, but the characters that less people knew about, they're getting introduced within Disney Plus, and then they're going to be moved into series. So actually, yeah, I agree with you. I think they really should start with the series and then go into the movies.
Are their powers going to be nerfed? Like if Moon Knight makes it to the live action screen, like it's an Avengers movie.
I mean,
not anymore.
Did you guys see that suit though?
Not anymore. I don't think anybody's going to be nerfed anymore, especially after Eternals and you get the Celestials and you're getting Icarus and stuff like that. I don't think anybody's going to get nerfed anymore.
I don't really think there is a thing as nerfing. And
it can't be nerfed.
Oh no, yeah, there was a huge nerfing phase, like 1 through 4.
No, but I'm talking about like going forward now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like going forward now when we're introducing like Iron Man, who isn't really a big character at first, and then next thing you know, Robert Downey Jr. comes in and blows the fucking roll up. But like, what I think they're gonna do with the Disney Plus shows, or in the theatrical releases, is they're gonna do those secondary character shows, and they're gonna have an event that causes or leads into a solo film. So like, whatever happens in She-Hulk might be the main cause for what makes the X-Men and makes them mutants. And then we follow them in their own solo film coming together after that event at the end of the show that might not even really connect at all other than that one specific event, and then vice versa. Like once those big characters are in the big screen, or hell, I think we're going to get like a Moon Knight animation by like season 3 of What If, but you guys get what I'm trying to say about that. But anyone got any final thoughts on What If episode 2? No. All right, guys, let's go into some final wrap-ups and some of our scores. AJ, why don't you lead us off, my man?
I'll grade it 8.6 out of 10. Story-wise, I really love, but I'm too much of an animation guy, and right now the first 2 episodes, there's not really a drastic change in animation that distinguishes the 2 episodes enough for me, which is, I guess it's okay, but a B plus, I like it. So I'm gonna give it an 8.7 out of 10.
What about you, Loretto?
I'll give it a 9.1. I was thoroughly entertained. I almost cried. I laughed. Can't ask for much more than that. I think my only gripe is, I actually agree with AJ. I think I have a little bit of issues with the animation, especially like their faces, but the landscapes and the ships and the action's pretty cool. So that makes up for it.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you guys. And what about you, Deebs?
I'll go a little bit higher than Loretto. I gave Captain Carter episode 1 a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I'm going to give this a 9.25. 9.7.
He gives a shit about those numbers. Now he's pulling it now.
Hey, I'm not sitting back here with a calculator for people. Unlike our Versus series when I have to fucking do all that.
That's when he doesn't like it.
9.27 out of 10. It was, Chadwick Boseman as Star-Lord was super refreshing. It was super fun. It was super original. I love how they took, episode 1 and just one-upped everything here in episode 2. And if this story continues, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I'm excited to hear that he's coming back for more episodes. That is...
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That warms my heart. I didn't know there was more. So
that is really exciting. I love what they did with Thanos, Yondu. If this is what we're gonna get, if this is like the appetizer for the next 7 episodes, let's fucking go.
No, honestly, guys, you all hit it nail on the head right there. I absolutely agree with all of you. The animation's a little stiff, like you said, Loretto, especially on the facial animations more than anything. And a lot of it's in the lip, but that's besides the point. But I think that the show offers a lot of fresh and new ideas that really just keeps me wanting to go back. Animation aside, getting to see these characters in these different scenarios that we would never really get to see in live action unless they were like really hyped up event or something like that. We wouldn't see like if T'Challa was Star-Lord in real life or something like that. And you know what? It's really refreshing. And every week it's enough to get me to sit down. I think I'm gonna go a little bit lower than AJ. I'm gonna give this episode 8.5 out of 10. But without a further ado, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week, and catch us next Wednesday again talking about What If episode 3. I'm not going to say the name, guys, but I'm definitely interested. I'll leave it at that. But further ado, see you guys on the next one. Peace.